Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. This video is going to be different to most of the videos that I make. I'm going to be looking at 6 articles, 6 cases. Now they're not crimes. They all involve drownings of, in total, 6 individuals, 5 of which are in Australia, 1 of which is in the UK. 3 of the drowning deaths are young adults. 3 are of children. I think 3 have occurred in the ocean and 3 within swimming pool environments. And why am I making this video about drownings? Well, all of these drownings have happened just in a short space of time. The first happened, I think, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, the last Boxing Day. So just within 2-3 days, there's been multiple deaths. And my knee-jerk reaction as a layman is that this is quite shocking. I am quite shocked and stunned of how many people have died in bodies of water. They've drowned. It confuses me, and just something in my brain is sounding an alarm. Now, I do want to qualify that I really don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a layman. I'm not overly familiar with the level of drownings that occur. Maybe this number of drownings is somewhat normal. In Australia, we're in the peak summer. It's very, very normal and common for huge amount of people to go to the beach, spend time at the beach over the Christmas period, to spend time in the water over the Christmas period. Perhaps this number of drownings is entirely normal, statistically wise. But it concerns me, and I have to say that I've been running this YouTube true crime channel for the last year. As you probably know, essentially what I do is I scour through hundreds of news headlines, news article headlines each day. So I just start off with the headlines, and then I look at those that strike me as more interesting. And I have come across quite a large number of drownings. It surprised me. And again, I could be completely wrong for being surprised. I'm ignorant of what the statistics in regards to drownings is. But the reason I'm making this video is to pay some respects to the drowning victims, and hopefully that comes across. But also, I guess I'm somewhat sounding an alarm. I'm voicing my concern that perhaps this is happening too much. And why would that be? I don't know what the answer to why would that be is. I don't know too much about this at all, but I do think this is something for all of us just to keep an eye on. And if you are pretty knowledgeable, perhaps if you are aware of the drowning statistics, perhaps if you're a life-saving officer or such, feel free to drop a note in the comments just to educate me and anyone else if we're getting the wrong end of the stick, as it were. But let's crack on and go through these articles. So the first one is in regards to this gentleman here, 17 years of age. His name is Nick Mann, and on Boxing Day is the day after Christmas Day, the 26th of December. On Boxing Day, he died. He drowned at Mordialloc Beach. That is in Melbourne. Melbourne is in Victoria. A few of the deaths that we're going to look at did occur in Victoria. So this happened on Boxing Day, Monday. That's 2 days ago. He was swimming at Mordialloc Beach, if I pronounce that correctly. Perhaps I don't. He was reported missing. There was a full-scale search and rescue attempt. He was pulled unresponsive from the water 45 minutes later. He was taken back to shore. Paramedics and lifeguards performed CPR, but he tragically died at the scene. 17 years of age. He's an athlete. Sorry, he was an athlete. He played AFL. For those that are in America, AFL is Australian Football League. Aussie rules. He played for the Pakenham Lions Junior Football Club. 17 years of age. He's an athlete. I don't know how good he is as a swimmer. And did I mention already, in Australia, the rips, when you're at the beach, when you're in the ocean, when you're in the sea, the rips are very, very powerful. They can quite easily take you out very far, very quickly. If you're just standing in the water or wading in the water, you can lose your footing. If you're not confident enough to swim that much, you can very easily be pulled out. It's happened to me on one occasion where I struggled for a while. So yeah, these things do happen, and it is a tragedy. But it does set off a little bit of an alarm bell. Well, this is a strong young man, boy. I'm going to say man. This is a 17-year-old who's an athlete. They have strength. Again, perhaps he's not a good swimmer. I don't know. But of course, full condolences to the family and the others at the Pakenham Lions Junior Football Club. I am being respectful. It just concerns me that what I presume to be a physically fit, healthy, strong young man, an athlete, struggled. It surprises me. But again, I'm a layman. I really don't know. Perhaps I'm misjudging the power of the rips at Mordialloc Beach. So we're going to move on to the next case. And that is, a man dies after being pulled from water in Ebden. Ebden is in Victoria. He was pulled unresponsive from waters at Kookaburra Point in Ebden. This happened the same day, Boxing Day, so that's Monday, the day after Christmas Day. The man is believed to be aged in his 30s. He ran into the water to chase after his dog. When he was in the water, he appeared to struggle. Onlookers pulled the man to the shore. They commenced CPR. An ambulance came. He was transported to hospital, and tragically, he later died. The article tells us that officers who attended the scene have been advised that the man may have suffered a medical episode whilst he was in the water. He may have suffered a medical episode whilst he was in the water. So perhaps he did suffer a medical episode, perhaps he didn't. Okay, so people do suffer medical episodes. That is a thing that happens, and it is possible that, that could have happened, and that could have put him in the position where he became submerged in the water and then, from there drowned or such. But I am wondering, and I do mean to be respectful when I say what it is that I'm wondering. I am wondering why this happened. He's in his 30s. I've got to presume, could be incredibly wrong, but I would presume most people in their 30s, most men in their 30s, are relatively fit and healthy. He's out there walking his dog. I presume that's something he does regularly. I used to walk my dog along the beach, along the quay, and dogs would run into the water, but they wouldn't get very far. They're not going to get very far. They'd be pretty easy to, if they are in the water, they're not going to go very far. They're not going to go very fast. So it does surprise me that this man struggled. But what do I know? I don't know anything about this guy's medical history, but I'm just saying it's just an alarm bell. Why would a man in his 30s suffer a medical episode when he's doing something fairly routine, walking his dog, entering the water? Shouldn't be that demanding, shouldn't be that physically demanding to provoke a medical episode. Again, I do wish to be fully respectful. I've just got these alarm bells going off in my brain and I wanted to express them. So we're going to move on to the third one. A young man dies after being pulled from water in Lorne. Lorne is again in Victoria. Officers have been told that the teenager was one of 3 young men body surfing in the vicinity of where the Cumberland River meets the ocean. So at Cumberland River Beach. So they're at the beach, in the sea, in the ocean. They're body surfing. They're using their bodies as surfboards. They've perhaps got boogie boards or something, These are three young men. One of them got into difficulty shortly before 6 p.m. The other two tried to assist. And then all three of them found themselves in difficulty. Why was that? Is that because, again, the current was particularly strong? The rips were particularly strong? Might well be the case. The three of them finally made their way to shore. They all collapsed. They all needed medical assistance. An off-duty doctor, along with another onlooker, assisted. Also, police and Surf Life Rescue assisted. They performed CPR. They provided first aid. And then paramedics arrived. So they received treatment, quite a bit of treatment. An off-duty doctor was there to give them immediate treatment. Tragically, one of the three, a 19-year-old from St Albans in Melbourne, Victoria. I believe St Albans is in Melbourne. Apologies if I have that wrong. A 19-year-old from St Albans died at the scene, a 19-year-old man. A second male, so I presume his friend, is believed to be in a serious condition. He's currently in a hospital in Melbourne. The third young man, again, I believe, the three of them were friends. They were body surfing together, I believe. A third young man was taken to a local hospital for treatment. So we're not told, but I think we can presume and hope that he's in a stable condition. Or indeed he's been released from the hospital. So, in essence, we've got three young men doing what a lot of Australian young men do. Go to the beach, do some body surfing. And they've all come into trouble at the same time. And one of them has died. Of course, full condolences to his family. And another is in a serious condition. We hope and pray that he pulls through. So, again, these are alarm bells going off. Why is this happening? Is this normal? We're not even told that they've drowned. We're not even being told that they drowned. Like, they came back to shore. So, I mean, perhaps they did drown. No, that can't be right, can it? So, they died of another medical issue. I've got to presume. That would be my presumption. Again, apologies for saying anything which could be construed as being insensitive or inappropriate. I'm just concerned as to why this is happening in the quantity that shocks me. And maybe I'm wrong to be shocked. So we're going to move on to the next. This is involving a 5-year-old girl that died. Again, in Victoria. Not at a beach, at a lake. Lake Ngambie at Buckley Park. She died Tuesday the 27th of December. That was yesterday at around 2:20 p.m. She was with her family. She went missing at Lake Ngambie. She was found in the water a short time later. She was taken to the bank. Emergency services performed CPR. And unfortunately, she died at the scene. This is a 5-year-old girl in a lake. I've never been to too many lakes. But, I mean, they have calm water in lakes, don't they? Calm water. Okay, it's a 5-year-old girl. Presumably, they're not a particularly strong swimmer. Perhaps she came into some difficulties. I don't know. I'm just confused by it. I'm just confused. Why are so many people dying in bodies of water? So again, this is in a lake. This isn't at the beach, if I understand correctly. If I'm wrong, if I'm being ignorant, please do let me know. Going to move on to the next one. Of course, I need to mention, just to reiterate, full condolences to all of the families of all of the drowning victims. A 4-year-old girl is in critical condition after she was pulled unconscious from an apartment complex pool. Okay, a swimming pool in an apartment complex in Sydney's west, Wentworth Point. That's a suburb in Sydney. This happened yesterday yesterday, the 27th of December at 6:15 p.m. The 4-year-old had nearly drowned. An ambulance arrived. By the time the ambulance arrived, family members were performing CPR. She was unresponsive. She was rushed to the local children's hospital. We're told that she remains in a critical but stable condition. Prayers for this 4-year-old girl. We pray that she makes a full recovery. I've not come across this kind of situation before. You know, I don't know how many millions of swimming pools there are in Australia. Do people drown in swimming pools? Yes, it happens. Doesn't happen that often, or it didn't usually happen that often. Why is it happening now to the degree that it is? This final one that I'm going to look at happened in England, in Longleat, Wiltshire. This is a water park, a theme park, but based on water. A 4-year-old boy died. This happened Christmas Eve. At around 11 a.m. So medics were there, lifeguards were there, but tragically, he was pulled from the pool, and he was pronounced dead shortly after. It tells us here, Wiltshire said it's working with the coroner to determine the circumstances of the boy's death. Yes, I would like to understand the circumstances of the boy's death, honestly. And again, full condolences to the family concerned. But to me, I find this difficult to comprehend. People do drown. Young people of all ages. So perhaps I'm being completely silly. Maybe these are just unfortunate events and this is how the world is and this happens on an ongoing basis. Perhaps I'm being silly, but ultimately the reason why I felt compelled to make this video is because I fear that this is a higher than usual rate of drownings. And again, over the last year that I've been running this channel, true crime based, I looked through news articles and there's been multiple incidences of drownings. And it struck me as already too many, and then here we are, we've got 6 articles, 6 deaths over the course of 4 days. Now again, granted, this is examples from Australia and the United Kingdom, so maybe I'm just overreacting. It's quite possible, but it just seems to me to be very concerning as to why people of varying ages are dying in various bodies of water. This is a water park. They got life-saving guys and girls everywhere, There's people everywhere. How is this happening? In an apartment pool, I would imagine there would have been other people there, many other people supervising the children, whatever children are there. The parents or a family friend or such would be supervising, I'm quite sure. So how does this happen? I mean, I can only think that it must have happened suddenly and devastatingly. That something happened suddenly and the children were unrecoverable, if I've used the correct term. Perhaps I haven't. So anyway, I think I've made my point there. Ultimately, it just concerns me. Again, full condolences to all of the drowning victims, their families. I just think this is something we should keep an eye out for. And I would be interested, and perhaps I should go away and look up some drowning statistics just to calm my mind. But I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Hopefully this has been worthwhile. Be keen to hear your comments. You can tell me that I'm barking up the wrong tree if you like. More than happy to hear that. or you can tell me that you agree, whatever it happens to be. But yeah, this is something I'm going to continue to keep an eye out for. I think it's I need to get a better understanding as to why this is occurring. I'm going to wrap things up. Take care.